Hey there, welcome to Live by Design, a place where I hope you'll find content that's informative, inspiring, and insightful. I'm your host, Moadi Debinga. I'm a life coach, I'm a speaker, I'm an aunt, a whole bunch of other things. And today I'm happy to see you, or be seen by you, I should say. It's Tuesday, August 23rd, 2016. So how you doing? Hope you had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. I had an opportunity to spend some good quality phone time with a dear friend of mine who always challenges me and always just leaves me with so much good stuff to think about. So I'm really grateful for her, and I'm grateful for the time that we got to spend chatting this weekend. And then also my nephew, he'll be 2 in October, has learned how to use FaceTime on one of the phones in the house. So he FaceTimed me on Sunday 13 or 14 times, and it was awesome. Every time that little face just popped up on that phone, I got like a little burst of joy in my like a shot of joy in my arm. It was awesome. So that was pretty cool. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but I'm gonna enjoy it while it does. Anyway, today we're talking about something that has been on my mind for a while. It's this idea of pain pimps. Pain pimps. And it's a term that you're not going to find on WebMD. You're not going to find it in any psychology book or psychiatrist book. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist. I'm just Wadi Debinga. But this pain pimp thing, it's a phenomenon that's starting to really get my attention and really, to be honest, get on my nerves. Pain pimps are people who use the pain, their own pain, trials, tribulations, or the trials, tribulations of others to gain some type of favor. They are people who are more committed to cultivating, complaining about, and um, utilizing their pain for personal gain than they are to actually healing their own pain. They are people who exploit the pains of others for financial gain, pain pimps. We all, well, maybe you all, I don't anymore. Most of us, most folks had that friend or two, or maybe you're that person who, when they call on the phone and you pick up the phone and you're like, hey girl, and they're like, hey, and immediately you know from their tone that they're calling to complain about something, and that they're not really calling to do anything else but complain about whatever it is that's going on or has been going on in their life. Now, they're not going to ask you how you're doing. They're not going to ask you about your business. They're not going to ask you about your family. They're going to wait until you catch a breath, and then they just go right into their thing, to their story, to their shtick, right? And at the end of their conversation, there's never any resolution. There might be an ask, maybe, can you borrow some money? Can you babysit? Can you give me a ride? But there'll never be any resolution as to the problem, as to, how they can move on or grow from it. They're not really interested in hearing you offer them suggestions about how to fix or change any of their problems, because you never had any of their problems. You've never been through any of their problems. Da 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 da. They just want to call and dump all of their problems on you. They want you to be, for want of a better term, their emotional toilet, right? They come, they take a dump, and then they go on about their business. Meanwhile, you're sitting around poop all over your head wondering what happened. Those are pain pimps. Pain pimps. I've seen them in the workplace. I'm not going to mention where I was working, but, several places where people, staff people, colleagues who did not finish their assignments, and particularly those whose not finishing their assignments resulted in me having to do double and triple work, being excused for their lack of follow through, and excused for the lack of professionalism because, well, he just went through a divorce. Oh, well, he was sick all last year, or, and all the excuses that come and come and come, that come and come and come and come and come and come. And it becomes part of the organizational culture that this person or that person, these one or two pain pimps, we can't expect too much from them. Don't put too much, they grew up poor. They didn't go to this particular school, or, whatever the excuse is. And it's not to say, now I want to be clear, we all go through something, and we all go through legitimate problems. But the difference between pain pimps and folks, the rest of us, are that pain pimps hit rock bottom and they decide to make it their permanent address and expect everybody to come down and visit them on a regular basis. And as I said, I don't have those kind of people in my life anymore. I used to have a lot of folks who would just call me, and as soon as I said, hey, they're going into their whole story. Now that's not the case. People who call me, my peers, people who are my friends, not people who I coach and mentor, but my actual friends, they will call me, ask me how I am doing, how's my family, how is my business, how are my nephews and nieces, the whole nine. I'll ask them how they're doing. Or if they call and they have a problem, they'll call and say, Wadi, I got to talk to you about A, B, or C. Do you have a minute? And I know they're calling to go through this problem. And we go through it. We try to resolve it. If we can't resolve it, we just sort of tinker it around and look back and forth at it and pick it up and pick it apart. And that's helpful to them. And they go on about their business. And they'll do that for me. But Pain Pimps, it's a one-way street. They're going to call you, but don't think about calling them when you have a problem. They will use their experiences, their past, etc., as a reason not to follow through on their commitments to you. But heaven help you if you don't live up to a commitment that you have made towards them. Pain Pimps, again, they're more committed to exploiting, complaining about, embracing their problems than they are to their own healing. I also see a lot of pain pimping in this life coach business that I'm in, actually to the point where I've actually considered, do I want to stay in this business? Because there are a lot of people who are in pain. It makes sense to me. This is, being a human is not an easy way to go. It's hard work. And it's not for sissies. It's hard work. And there are people who are a lot of pain. And there are life coaches, spiritual leaders, teachers who pimp that pain, who go out and are so committed to talking the talk. They know all the right words. They read all the right books. They have all the right resources. And they go out and spew all of this rhetoric to other people so they, for their own financial gain. Meanwhile, their lives look like a hot mess. They're going out there, I'm a health and wellness expert telling people how to eat and this and that. And they're going home and they're, living at McDonald's 24/7. And it's not to say that people who are in our field are supposed to be perfect. Not by any stretch. And it's not to say that people in our field are not supposed to make mistakes or backslide, because we all do that. But maybe it's just me, those of us who have made the decision that this is going to be our life's work, we need to be committed more to our healing than we are to anybody else's, because we have to be role models of the work. And so, yes, we all fall flat sometimes. Yes, we all fall off the wagon. My eating sometimes it's an abomination. And yes, I do lose my temper sometimes. And yes, I do fall back into old behaviors that I've really worked to evolve past. But the key for me is that I don't fall as often as I used to. And when I fall down, I don't stay down as often as I used to, because I do my work. So I'm not going to go out to a workshop and tell the people that come to see me, I want you to journal, I want you to do this, and da-da-da-da, and I'm at home with my feet up, watching TV all afternoon. That's just not how I do things, because I think that's not alignment. That's not in alignment, my words and my actions. And if I go and ask you to do something that I'm not doing myself, and I go and tell you to follow this course of action because I know it works, and da-da-da-da-da, and I'm at home not doing that myself, I'm a pimp. I'm pimping your pain. I'm a charlatan. I'm a snake oil saleswoman. I'm not authentic. I'm not sincere. I see you in your pain. And then rather than really being honest and authentic with you, I'm just going to, exploit your pain so I can make a couple of dollars. That's pain pimping. So it happens in a lot of different ways, a lot of different circles. The people who use their own pain to I call it the get out of jail free card. You don't have to hold them accountable for anything. They can be late. They cannot keep their word. They cannot show up for stuff. And they always go back to, I went through this, I went through that. Or on the other side of the coin, the people who see people are in pain and they use that for their own financial gain. That's pain pimping. And it happens on both sides. It happens a lot of different ways that we don't even have the time really to discuss now. And so my point in even bringing this up, because I'm sure you're probably wondering, why is she even talking about this? Is because, what I have come to know to be true, down to my toes, is that our purpose in life as human beings is to do our part to elevate the consciousness of this planet, period, bottom line. And I do believe that everything that we have gone through, everything that you've gone through and that you're going through, within it, there is a lesson that you are meant to learn, and there was a lesson that you are meant to use in support of your evolution, in support of your growth. And you can choose to have these situations, these illnesses, and all of the things that you've gone through. You could use them as fertilizer in which to plant your seeds, to help build, as fertilizer to help you grow. or you can use them to keep you stuck. You can use the pain towards your advantage in a way that really benefits you and advances you. You don't have to be shackled by your past, but you can be informed by your past, so much so that you learn from the mistakes. You can find strength through every trial and tribulation that you've gone through. And it may sound like, oh, well, she doesn't know what I've been through. Look at history. Look at history. History is filled with people, individuals, collectives of people who've gone through horrendous things, some things that would make my toes curl, and have yet found a way to come through, grow through it, and come out stronger with a renewed sense of purpose. Then there are those who find themselves stuck, and they decide to stay there because it's easier, because it's more comfortable, and because, quite frankly, people in their circle enable them. So my point in even talking about this pain pimping thing is to offer you, myself, all of us, an opportunity to turn the mirror around. Look at your life this week with some real clear eyes. Look at the language you use to describe your life. Look at the language that you use to describe your story, and look at your behaviors. Are you a pain pimp at any level? Are there spaces in your life, places in your life that you use your pain to live below your standard, to excuse bad behavior, to get love, sympathy, feel any type of emotional feedback from others? Because if you do that, then you're a pain pimp, and I think that's an opportunity for you to look at yourself and really ask yourself, isn't there more to this? Isn't there more to me? You're not your problems. You're not the problems that you've gone through. You're not your illnesses. You're not your bankruptcies. You're not your divorces. You're not your poverties. You're not your heartbreaks. Those are things that we've all experienced in some form or fashion, and will experience them again in the future. And yes, it will get us down, but we don't have to stay down. And you don't have to live in this space of constantly reminding yourself, reinforcing and growing an identity around your pain, living so rooted in your pain, so shackled by your pain that you're not able to reach your highest potential. That's not a way to live. That's not living. That's merely surviving and getting over. And I just think we were sent here to do more than that. And if you're somebody who enables a pain pimp, then you've got an invitation for a conversation with yourself. Are there people in your life who you know? I had them. I had several of them. I cut them loose. And I'm sure they found somebody else to latch on to. But I'm like, if you can't call me and ask me how I'm doing, and you can't genuinely be concerned about me, and you can't genuinely be interested in elevating your own self, how are you going to support me? How are you going to be there for me if it's always about you and your problems? And if I'm constantly feeding into that, if I'm constantly stroking your ego and, oh, it's okay, but you're not making one movement towards healing yourself, then what good am I? I'm an enabler. Right? And pain pimps, they're all around. Look, when you go to work tomorrow, look around. Look at people. When you start to answer your phone, people don't talk on phones. When you get these text messages or Facebook messages and posts, look at the people in your circle. Either you have pain pimps in your life or you're a pain pimp. Right? Those are usually how those things sort of break down. Either there are people in your life, and maybe not, because at this point, I don't believe I'm a pain pimp. I really try to take responsibility for everything that happens to me. And I try, even on those days when I'm feeling down, I try not to stay down too long. And I do those things that I tell my clients to do to help get myself back into a space of healing, a space of potential, a space of possibility, and a space of joy. And it's not always easy. I've been through some stuff, going through some stuff right now. Who's not? Everybody has been through or is going through something, right? But there's a difference between those of us who choose to grow through these things and those who choose to stay stuck in them and then exploit them to their own advantage. Don't let that be you. Don't let that be you. Don't let that be you. Don't be that person who has a heartbreak and stays heartbroken for the rest of their life. Don't be that person who has an illness, or maybe a chronic illness, and then makes a decision, well, I'm just going to park my car right here on this journey of life, and I'm not going to try to go forward. Find the courage, find the strength, find the support that you need to help get yourself unstuck. and start to heal yourself from the pain instead of using it. Because if you use your pain for your financial gain, if you use your pain for favor, to get out of jail free, or to get support from other people, then there's really no incentive for you to heal it. You're going to spend the rest of your life trading in it, trading in your pain. That's not a way to live. Raise your standard for yourself about how you were meant to be in this world. Raise a standard from yourself about what's possible for you. You're not your past, you're not your problems, you're not your pain, you're not your illness. You're going through those things. Like I said, we're all going through those things. And I'm not going to play whose pain's bigger than more than, oh, you don't know my pain. Pain's pain. It's all relative. Once you're sitting in it, your pain always feels like it's the most painful thing in the world. And that's fine. But you don't have to sit in it. You don't have to cleave to it. You don't have to cling to it, make it your persona, and make it your identity. And you most certainly don't have to manipulate other people to get what you want using your pain. That's unloving, it's unkind, and you sell yourself short when you do that. So the invitation, the offering for this week for all of us, and when I talk to you all, I'm talking to myself too, because I always take this as an opportunity to turn the mirror around and look at my life and ask myself, am I still making excuses? Am I still using some of the things that I experienced as a child, as a young adult, to keep me stuck and to keep me living small and to keep me from raising my standard for myself? That's my question for myself. That's what I often reflect on. I'm asking you to reflect that too. Don't be a pain pimp, and don't allow yourself to be played by a pain pimp. Look at people with open, fresh eyes. Recognize people who really don't really care that much about you, because they might love you even, but might be so steeped, so rooted in their own stuff that they can't be there for you the way you deserve. And that might be an opportunity. It is an opportunity for you to start to look around and ask yourself some questions about, well, is this relationship the best for me? Is this friendship the best for me? Is this employment situation the best for me? Right? So there are two things that we can look at this week. Pain pimping. Don't be one, and don't support one. You're better than that. All of us are better than that. We have work to be done. We have things that we can accomplish, but we have to take responsibility for our lives. And when we recognize that we're in pain, when we recognize that we're in conflict, when we recognize that we're in stress, we need to get the help to get ourselves out. There's really no reason in this day and age for us to ever allow ourselves to stay stuck and stay small and let our pain be our calling card and pimp out our pain for our own pleasure, our own profit. Because you're better than that. That's not what we were sent here for. So that's my thought. I don't even think it made that much sense, but I finally got it out. I'm going to refine this thought over the next couple of weeks, I think. I'm going to keep coming back to it because it's so emotional for me, because it chaps my hide, y'all. It gets me down to my toes when I see people not living to their potential, because I know people who are going through stuff, who are still working, who are still striving, who are still hustling. And even while they're going through whatever they're going through. And when you stay stuck, allow yourself to get stuck, and you lose your hustle muscle, right? Any muscle, anything that you don't use gets lost. And so when you stay stuck in that little corner and you allow yourself to be defined by your pain, when you allow your relationships to be defined by your pain, when you allow what you think is possible for you to be defined by your pain, you lose your hustle muscle. You lose your adventure muscle. And when you don't use them, you lose them. And once they're gone, they're not gone forever, but they sure are hard to get back. So pain pimping. Don't do it. Don't be one. And don't enable one. Okay? There's work to be done. Commit to your healing, not to your pain. Commit to your evolution, not to your story. Live from a space of what's possible. Live from a space what's probable, based on whatever statistics that you're reading that tell you that people who have gone through what you've gone through can only have this and can only have this small life. That's not you. But you've got to be clear about whether or not you are living through your pain and growing through your pain, right? Or allowing your pain to define you, to keep you stuck, to keep you small, and keep you still. So those are my thoughts. Again, I'm going to come back to this because I feel more needs to be said, and I feel I want to be clear about that. But for now, this is just food for thought. Just some food for thought. Look at your life with open eyes. If you have any thoughts, if you have any ideas about this, email me, Facebook me, tweet me, Twitter me. You know what I mean. reach out to me because I would love to hear your thoughts about this notion about pain pimping. And if you think I'm being judgmental and mean, you let me know that too because I'm interested in what you have to say, okay? So thanks for spending this time with me. I look forward to seeing you soon. Visit me online, moadydebinga.com, and that'll have a list of events that are coming up and all that good stuff. In the meantime, until I see you next time, take care of yourself and the people that you love, and have a great day. Bye.